up, everybody? This is Conroy Green, and you're tuned in to Capital Growth. I want to welcome everybody to episode number 2. We are definitely on our second episode here. We are moving with all of our pistons firing, and I'm really excited about this. I'm happy that we are making progress with this thing, and it's really exciting for me to be on to my second episode. It really means a lot. So we got some really good stuff for you guys today that we're going to be talking about. Today, what we're focusing on this episode are the three key traits for being successful in life and building financial freedom. All right, those three things are patience, perseverance, and the willingness to learn. All right, okay. These three things are very important because without them, it's pretty much impossible to obtain the level of success that most people desire in life. Getting there is not an easy thing, and these are probably the most substantial things that you'll need to actually get there. All right, so we're going to start with talking about patience and why patience is so important. For me, I think that patience is probably the number one most important thing when it comes to becoming financially successful. And the reason for that is it takes time. It takes a lot of time to build wealth. It takes a lot of time for your investments to come into fruition, for you to see results from the things that you are putting work in on. And it really doesn't happen overnight. This is not something that you'll be able to see in a 2-day period or a 1-week period. It could take you months, it could take you years, it could even take you an entire lifetime for you to get certain things. And without patience, it's not going to work out for you. So that's really the main thing. And it's always important to try to lock in on being as patient of a person as you possibly can. No matter what you're going through in life, there's always going to be some type of hardship, and it's going to make you feel like maybe things are not coming along fast enough. Maybe things are just moving a little bit too slow for your liking, and you want it now. I think all of us have probably been through that at some time in our life. Just that sense of urgency and that desire to want things in your hand at the very moment when you want it. And that's the quickest way to go down the drain for everything that you're working on to tank, because you could really suffer from anxiety if your patience is not up to par. I'll give you an example for myself in building my business. When I was working on starting Sea Green Financials, I was a lot younger than I am now, and a lot less experience in life and in accounting and finance in general. And I thought that I knew a lot. I thought that I knew it all. And once I realized that things are not going to happen when I want them to, and I'm really not in so much control over how the growth of my business progresses over time, I had to learn really quickly to become very patient in what I was doing. I always considered myself to be a patient person, but building this business was something that really put a test to me, and it really forced me to tune into myself and my capabilities. And that is probably when I realized that I'm really going to have to develop a high level of patience if I intend on being successful in what I'm doing. All right, so that kind of leads into the next thing, which is perseverance. Perseverance is the ability to make it through situations, to even any type of situation, a tough situation, and come out on top, basically. Like I said, if you don't have the patience to persevere, you won't last. You have to be able to overcome obstacles. Dealing with stress. All of these things are gonna be a part of your growth. Stress is definitely a big part of growth. There's a saying that says, comfort zone is really good, but nothing ever really grows there. So in order for you to grow, you're gonna have to put yourself through some things that you probably don't want to. Something that's not gonna be, desirable for you. It's going to stress you out, and you're going to feel like exploding. You're going to want to quit. You're going to want to give up. But if you stick to it and you persevere through it, that's when you're going to see results. So like I said, patience and perseverance are really two things that go hand in hand. All right. Um, the next thing that we're going to talk about is the willingness to learn. All right. And what this means is that you have to be open-minded. You have to be willing to accept the fact that you don't know everything, and that, in order for you to grow, you need to know and obtain as much information as possible. One of the biggest blocks for someone's success is ignorance and being stubborn. If you hate being wrong, or if you hate someone telling you something that you feel that you already know or that you should know, that's gonna be part of your downfall. You have to be open-minded. You have to be willing to receive information from people, even people who you think are beneath you, because one person might be skilled in something or have information that you might necessarily have. Just because you may be older than them, or you feel like you're more experienced. Everyone has a perspective to bring to the table, and everyone can provide some type of valuable information, if you're just willing to open up. Also, to go further into that, you need to be able to obtain information. One of the biggest ways to learn is just going through life and experiencing things. As you go through life, you will pick up information, and you have to be willing to receive that information. You can't be a type of person that wants to just block things out, and feel like, well, that doesn't apply to me, or I already knew that. You could be closing your mind up already to certain key elements that will lead to your success. So you really got to be mindful of that. There's three things that my mentor used to tell me that always stuck with me, and I use it every day. When I'm doing things, anytime that I'm learning something new for the first time, or going into a situation that I'm not completely familiar with, I always start with this. You have to know what you know, you have to know what you don't know, and you have to know what you think you know. All right? Now that might confuse some people, but I'm going to break that down for you. All right? So basically, you have to know what you know. Okay? You have to know the difference between real information, theories, and alternative facts. You have to know the things that you actually have researched and have a confidence in knowing is true or not. Okay? Then you have to know what you don't know. You have to separate the things that you know you have, the information that you know you have correct, and the information that you don't have at all. Even though you don't know, you still have to know that you don't know, in order for you to be able to learn what it is that you don't know. Okay? And then the third thing is you have to know what you think you know. And those are the things that you're uncertain about, things that you may have theories on, things that opinions that you may have formed. But you keep these things in a bucket, and at some point you really have to do the research to make sure that what you think is actually correct. Okay? And that all ties into this willingness to learn. You have to be willing to accept those things and be honest with yourself. If you keep an open mind, you will miss. You can pick up on a lot of things that you can't find in a news article. You can't find in a book. You could, just by bouncing information off of other people. I think is probably one of the most beneficial ways of receiving information. All right, so you really got to look into those things. One of the last things that I wanted to talk about, aside from these three traits, is endurance. Okay, I think that the biggest challenge with finance for people is overcoming obstacles and dealing with the hardships of getting there. Getting over the hump. Breaking that paycheck to paycheck cycle. Breaking that debt cycle. Breaking those bad consumer behaviors. All of those things that are really important for you to be able to make the most out of the money that you're making, and whatever business or job that you have, career that you have. You have to be able to endure a lot of things. If you can't, it's gonna break you down, and ultimately lead to your failure. All right, so I think it's really important. I want to make this the second episode before we start diving into the details of my theories on achieving this level of financial stability. I think that it's really important for people to stop before you can go on, before you can make the decision that you want to be successful. You want to get into investing. You want to go and start your own business. Maybe you want to go back to school and get a degree. You know what I'm saying, and start on a new career path. Before you get into any of those things, you really need to sit down with yourself and focus on these three main things. If I would have been able to do that, I think it would have made things a little bit better for me. And that's the reason why I'm sharing this information with people, so that people don't make the same mistakes twice. If you can learn from somebody else, that's better for all of us. Someone can get there a little smoother. That's a great thing. So that's pretty much it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me. All right. These videos are gonna be up on many different outlets. I want you to make sure that you check us out on our SoundCloud page, Capital Growth, on our YouTube page at One Capital Growth, and also check me out on Facebook, facebook.com/cgreenfinancials. All right, and please stay tuned. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Stay tuned and stay informed, and look out for the things that we got coming up next. And I hope to see you guys and hear from you guys very soon. I want to see some comments. I want to see people subscribing to my channel. Bring some topics to me. Let me know what kind of things you guys would like to hear from me. What kind of questions do you have? If you wanted to talk to an economist or a financial advisor or an accountant, and you had questions, anything, whatever it might be, let me know. Send a comment. Send me an email. cgreenfinancials@gmail.com, and I'll put that information up on my next episode in the upcoming days. I think the next one we'll probably be doing is working on breaking some of the myths about income taxes. That's probably my favorite place to go. So look out for that coming soon. All right, and that's about it. My name's Conroy Green. This is Capital Growth, and you've just been informed. Hey!